Okay, let's go further. You reached Berg, the same village in the east that you heard about as a child. Does it give us any perks? Don't think so. Look for Sigi, walk. Let's look for Sigi. He's supposed to wait for us in some burnt house, right? I just took a break and I don't remember anything anymore. There is a poster on a board with a portrait of the chief. Take a look. Wanted, dead or alive. Poor kids, they're just trying to survive as they can, so they have to steal. And guards want to execute them. I feel bad. Wanted, nickname chief. Crimes, brigandage, robbery, kidnapping. Kidnapping? Reward, 300 gold. Serpentine jumped out with a mouse in her mouth from behind a board. Talk, leave. Let's talk. Serpentine is playing with a stunned mouse. What do you think, Your Grace? 300 coins is pretty good money. Maybe you can get into the castle with it. That's pretty low. The mouse ran away from a surprised Serpentine. Look at the list of his crimes, that's pretty low. Well, he doesn't have a choice. It's a harsh life. Look for Sigi. Serpentine jumped over a board in search of the mouse, and you went further into the village. A drunk man fell out of the next house. You are standing on the threshold of the tavern called Iron Boar. Look inside Iron Boar, look for Sigi's hideout. Let's look for his hideout. You left the tavern and began to walk around it until you noticed a chimney pipe. Not far from here, a familiar child is hiding in the shadows. Go to Sigi. My scouts reported where the captured fighters were being held. Scouts? Where? Have you seen an ad? Yeah. Have you seen an ad? Still, the whole village is filled with them. It's definitely true about robbery, but he didn't kidnap anyone. Yeah, that's what I thought. The children go to him on their own. Alright, where are the beggars? In the ruins of the tower, the place where cells are rotting in the rain. They'll kick the bucket if we don't help. Well, oh well, I have a plan. What is the plan? At night, the guards usually work in pairs. One of us has to distract them somehow, while the other one breaks the locks on the cages. Well, what do you think? I'll crack the cages, I'll distract the guards. The plan is insane, I'll hand over the chief. Well, we got these lockpicks, so maybe we can try and crack the cages, but if it doesn't work, we can always restart this quest. Let's try that. Sigi nodded. All that remains is to wait for nightfall. You stepped on a rusty nail that left a bleeding wound in your foot. Tetanus? Put a plantain on the wound. Pee on the wound. Is this... like, we don't know if this is poisonous, but at the same time, this is not going to help. But maybe since it's like water, it will clear out some rust. I have no idea. Alright, let's try the plant. At least we will not be stinky. The dirty plantain did not bring any benefit, and the wound has festered. What did you expect? Danger lurks in every turn. You'd better get used to it. Let's try again. Look for Sigi. Take a look. Uh-huh. Talk. That's pretty low. Look for Sigi. Should we try and look inside the tavern this time? Maybe they will give us some food? Am I too hopeful? An old man comes up to you and says, "If you guess in which hand the treasure is, then it is yours. In the right hand, in the left hand, in both hands." He said hand, so it's one. In the left. There's a rotten tune in the old man's palm. You left the tavern and began to walk around it until you noticed the chimney. Okay, so this we saw already. Go to Sigi. Have you seen an ad? Alright, where are the beggars? What's the plan? I'll crack the cages. Uh-huh. Oh! So this time we didn't step on anything. You wanted to sleep terribly. Thankfully, there was a wagon with some hay in it and a small wooden house nearby. Lay in the wagon, go to the house. I feel like if we will be in the wagon, we will just be driven somewhere. Like, to another side of the map. It sounds fun, but... Alright, I'm curious. Let's lay in the wagon. You fell off a moving cart somewhere in a field. You had to go back by foot. Ah... I thought we will arrive to some interesting place. When it got dark, you came to the ruins of the tower. Sigi gestured with his hands that he was ready to distract the guards. Crawl closer to the tower. In the dark, dim light, far from the fire, you can see a large cage filled with children. While the guards are busy playing cards, you have a chance to crawl to the cage. Crawl to the cage. You stepped on a dry branch and caused a loud crunchy noise. The guards began to look around. The children in the cage have noticed you and begun whispering. Tell them to shut up, break the lock. Let's break the lock. The youngest of the children cried out of joy. The guard turned around to look but didn't see anything. You put your lockpick in the padlock. Spin to the left, spin to the right. I don't know how it's done. Let's spin to the right. The lock creaked loudly. Your attempt to break the lock failed. Spin to the left. The lock quietly clicked. You are on the right track. Spin to the left. The lock creaked loudly. Your attempt to break the lock failed. You put your lockpick in the padlock. Okay, spin to the left. And then right. And then left. The lock clicked quietly and the door opened. The children began to silently leave the cage. Take the children away. Oh, burglar prince. The last beggar decided to close the door, but it made a loud creaking noise. The guards ran after you. Run. After a long chase, you've been given up on. Sigi has gathered the beggars to safety and now they are waiting for you to take them to the chief. Yay! We did it! Where? Here? I forgot where to go! Here? The beggars are ready to follow you. Let's go to the Adit. Phew, I think I chose the right way. A peasant's house surrounded by a beet field appeared in your vision ahead. The starving kids ran to steal some beets. Do nothing? Take some food for yourself. You can't steal. Let's take some food. I feel like he's really hungry and it's night. It's okay. While you were eating raw beets with the other kids, a peasant with a pitchfork ran out of the hovel. What are you doing, demons? Get out of here. Defend. The peasant's pitchfork looks threatening. Looks like you are going to have to fight. Your movements look clumsy and ridiculous. The enemy is laughing at you. Get angry, remember fencing lessons. Let's remember fencing lessons. With a few blows, the enemy reminds you that you did not have any lessons. But this is a trick! That's just not fair. The call of nature caught you at the most unexpected moment. Run away into the bushes, plug the hole with your finger. We should run, because if we stand in front of him and do that, it's better if he be hidden at least. Run away into the bushes. You failed to hide. The enemy violated your privacy with several blows to the head. But how another option is better? Yes, you really died. It's okay, even kings die eventually. At least we can start from here. Let's go to the edit. Take some food for yourself. Defend. And then the enemy suddenly approaches you. Oh, did we get this before? Run away. You don't have time to speed up. Your back catches a blow. The enemy copies all of your moves and stances. He seems to even copy your facial expression. Make faces, pretend to pierce yourself. Pretend to pierce yourself. You stick your blade under your armpit, but the enemy repeating after you pierces himself. While you were dealing with the peasant, the boys surrounded his garden. Move on. After walking for a couple of hours, one of the boys stopped and yelled that he smelled corned beef. The smell was coming from a lonely merchant's cart on the road up ahead. But didn't they eat already? It's enough. Pass by. The hungry beggars didn't listen. You had no choice but to follow them. The beggars surrounded the trader's cart. The thick smell of corned beef filled the air around you. The merchant is ready to fight for his goods until the very last. Loot, talk to the merchant. Let's try and talk to him. The merchant drew his blade and prepared for a fight. At least we are distracting him meanwhile they are getting some food. Well, attack, bugs. You don't scare me. Give away everything and run. There are more of us than there are of you. You can't win. They are just hungry kids. They are just hungry kids. And what do you suggest? Give them everything. I'll be penniless. Share and we'll let you go. Diplomat. The merchant shared some of the goods and was released. Aww. One of the beggars remembered the way to the adit and the whole gang followed him. By the end of the day you got to the glade. Walk along the clearing glade. The entrance to the adit appeared ahead. You heard the voice of the chief from somewhere in the tree. Did you bring my fellows? Where are the rest? We agreed that you would bring everyone. Half of them were caught. What does it have to do with me? A contract is a contract. You won't get information for half of my fellows. What? Ha ha ha. If you could only see your face. Alright, the chief keeps his word. Do you know about the man with the tattoo? And now he will say no. Okay. I saw him about a month ago. He was going to the royal forest. Said there was an important matter. What it was he didn't say. Their leader's name is Ulrich. You will immediately recognize him. Tell me more. Then the whole gang returned to their camp in the mountains. It will be easy to find them. There will be a path between two crooked pines, but don't tell them that I gave you the information. But what's the the point is to get the ring back. What will you do? The same as before, of course. Our new home will be far from the main road. That's it. I thought we will become friends. Hit the road. You set off and Sigi was returned to the title of governor. Opened ways, camp of assassins. Closed ways, path to the abandoned mine. Where is the camp of assassins? Oh, here. It looks like we are getting closer to the castle. Maybe we will be able to solve our problem. Get the ring and return there. But I feel like in his condition, he's so dirty. His clothes are rags now. And he has this big scar across his face. I feel like if he will go to the castle with the ring, they will just say that he stole it. Especially if Victor is against us. He will say, oh, I don't recognize him. It's not him. But we'll see. Let's go to this camp. I don't like this music. I'm scared. You walked along a path between two crooked pines. An old towel loomed in the distance. There are assassins guarding the road. Follow, talk. Follow. The sentry headed towards the camp, and you were able to get closer. The sentry sat down by the fire, next to which two more men were sitting. You noticed another assassin by the old hut, standing farther away. Wait, sneak up on the Howl's guard. I don't know. Let's try sneaking up. We can always try again. You made too much noise, attracting the attention of the assassin. You had to hide in the tall grass. The guard by the hovel was called over by the man sitting by the fire, and he moved towards them. Sneak into the hovel, crawl into the window. Let's crawl into the window. A small window was on the unlit side of the hut. You carefully climbed into it and immediately received the hit on the back of the head. Okay, it's okay. Let's follow. Let's sneak. And let's sneak into the hovel. The door to the shack is under direct surveillance by the assassins. You understand that in order to slip through, unnoticed phenomenal dexterity is needed. I guess none of these choices is good. Let's follow. And then, let's wait. The guard by the hovel was called over by the man sitting by the fire, and he moved towards them. Can we sneak now? The door to the shack is under direct surveillance. But what do we do now? Is there some other choice after follow? Alright, I guess we will have to talk to them. Or we just simply need more hearts to do that. Okay, let's talk. The sentry was surprised to see you, to say the least. Who are you? How did you get here? Who the hell are you? Listen, let me in. I'm one of you. Can we even pretend to be one of them? We are like 13, and we don't have their special clothes. Let's try this one first. Listen, let me in. The sentry rolled his neck from side to side, then took out a cleaver. The enemy attacks are slow but strong. Hit with all your might, run away. Run away. You run around in circles until both of you stop from exhaustion. You angrily look at each other, trying to catch your breath. The enemy kneels down and surrenders. Stay put, take away the weapon, shake his hand. Let's shake his hand. You make a noble gesture, to which you are answered with the dagger in the hip. Yeah, he's an assassin, right? This is hard, this one. Let's talk. Listen, let me in. Wait, what? The call of nature caught you at the most unexpected moment. Run away into the bushes. You failed to hide. The enemy violated your privacy with several blows to the head. Bards will sing songs about your death for years to come. It's a pity that you won't hear them. Well, at least they will sing about him. Talk. Listen, let me in. The enemy desperately throws his weapon at you. Oh, so it's different each time. We have a weapon. Crouch down. Luckily, the blade flies just above the top of your head. The enemy kneels down and surrenders. Take away the weapon. As soon as you approach, you immediately get stabbed with a dagger. The enemy copies all of your moves and stances. He seems to even copy your facial expression. Pretend to pierce yourself. You stick your blade under your armpit, but the enemy repeating after you pierces himself. The enemy suddenly approaches you. Another one. Stick out your leg. The enemy doesn't notice your foot. He stumbles over it and flies with his face straight into the ground. In the heat of battle, your back itched unbearably. Ask the enemy to scratch. Keep watching the enemy. Maybe this will caught him off guard? But I have only one heart, I don't want to risk. Alright, I'm curious, let's ask the enemy to scratch. The enemy agrees, expecting to stab you in the back, but you struck first. Now you can take care of your back. By some miracle, you dealt with the sentry. Move forward. You walked 100 meters and entered the old shack unhindered. You opened the shack door almost without a creak. A man is sitting inside and thoughtfully looking at a map of the kingdom. This must be Ulrich. Talk. Ulrich expected to see anyone but you. Damn it, who are you? Wait a minute. Brother? So, you are alive? Why did you come here? Ulrich, the leader of the assassins who tried to kill you. Brother? Where is my ring? Take revenge. I don't know what to choose. I have only one heart. Where is my ring? I've got it. I'll take it now. Ulrich shook his head. He doesn't seem hostile. You heard screams from the street and Ulrich ran out the door. Watch through the open door. The bodies of the assassins lie by the fire. Next to them stands a stunned Ulrich. Instinct tells you to leave the shack. A crossbow bolt flies into Ulrich's chest and knocks him back a few meters. Go to the sound of a shot, go to Ulrich. Let's go to the sound. You went to the rock where you heard the sound come from. A masked shooter begins to reload his crossbow. Then he notices you and heads toward you holding a melee weapon. Get ready. Out of the corner of your eye, you notice Serpentine's tail in the bushes. You've been knocked to the ground. Stand up, scream. Stand up. Ah! It's not so easy to stand up when the sword is being swung over your body. Oh no! Okay, we talk. And then we ask to let us in. The enemy sneaks up behind you, keeping a close eye on you. Suddenly attack. You blew on your fists and rushed into battle against the armed enemy. It looked pathetic. But if we would scream, that wouldn't do anything. What if we try another option? I'm one of you. Are you taking me for a fool? You are going to die now. Defend. The sentry rolled his neck from side to side and took out a cleaver. The enemy desperately swings his weapon over your head. Dodge, catch the blade with your palms, block with your hand. Dodge. You almost lost your balance, but managed to avoid the blow. The enemy sneaks up behind you, keeping a close eye on you. Retreat. You back up and beat a bump. You back up and hit a bump. The enemy seizes the moment and strikes. Who the hell are you? Are you going to answer my question with a question, you bastard? You're going to die now. Defend. Fool. The sentry rolled his neck from side to side and took out a cleaver. Why? The enemy's lace got untied. On the one hand, it can fall. On the other hand, it distracts you. Let it fall. The enemy attacks, but stumbles and flies right at you. Well, it's really cool that this game has so many choices, but at the same time, it also gives me different options every time, and I just don't know what to do. I'm one of you. Defend. The enemy decided to have a snack during the battle. He takes out a loaf of bread and begins to devour it greedily. Attack while he's distracted. It seems that the snack gave the enemy new strength. He easily evades and answers you. The enemy desperately swings his weapon over your head. Tickle. Block with your hand and catch the blade with your palms. Tickle. The enemy didn't expect you to tickle him. He let go of the weapon. The enemy's lace got untied. On the one hand, it can fall. On the other hand, it distracts you. Warn. While the enemy is getting his boot in order, you manage to strike a crushing blow. The enemy suddenly approaches you. Attack, pretend to give up. Pretend to give up. The enemy believes you and slows down. Taking advantage of the moment, you jump back and take a fighting stance. By some miracle, you dealt with the sentry. Move forward. You walked 100 meters and entered the old shack unhindered. You opened the shack door almost without a creak. Ulrich? Ulrich expected to see anyone but you. Damn it, who are you? Wait a minute, brother? So you're alive, why did you come here? Brother? Yes, didn't you know our dad liked to have fun with peasant women? Perhaps we have other relatives. Where is my ring? I've got it. I'll take it now. Ulrich shook his head. He doesn't seem hostile. You heard screams from the street and Ulrich ran out the door. Watch through the open door. The bodies of the assassins lie by the fire. Next to them stands a stunned Ulrich. Instinct tells you to leave the shack. A crossbow bolt flies into Ulrich's chest and knocks him back a few meters. What if we go to Ulrich? Forgive me. Take your ring. Finish off Ulrich. What if he will pierce us if we take a ring? Okay, I will try this one because I don't want to regret anything. And if it's a bad option, I guess I will have to restart all this quest again. Let's take a ring. Oh, Ulrich handed you the ring and passed out. A crossbow bolt whistled near your ear. Go to the sound of a shot. A masked shooter begins to reload his crossbow. Then he notices you and heads toward you holding a melee weapon. Get ready. Out of the corner of your eye, you notice Serpentine's tail in the bushes. The enemy ran away from you at a significant distance. Make a menacing face. If the enemy saw your grin, he'd be scared, but he was far away. Serpentine jumped on the shooter and grabbed his head with her claws. After getting rid of the cat, he turned to run. No! Go after him. The killer ran behind the rock and disappeared from sight. Wait, is the cat dead? I want to replay now. I will definitely replay if something happened to her. The killer ran behind the rock and disappeared from sight. Examine the rock. There is a narrow gap behind the rock. Having made a torch from what was in the camp, you went inside. Why do we even go after him? You found yourself inside a dirty, damp cave. Go to the left, go to the right. Go to the left. The cave narrows, then expands. You have been walking for half an hour, but there is still no traces of the assassin. Keep going. You have passed the second half of an hour. You came to an abrupt stop. There is a crack in your path. You lowered the torch to look inside, but you can't even see the bottom. I can't play further. I'm so upset about the cat. She protected us. I don't think we should jump down. We should find another way. There is no further passage. A crack blocks the way. Let's throw the torch down. The torch didn't fly for long, but suddenly it went out with a hiss. Jump down. You landed in water. It cushioned your fall. When you got out of the water, you noticed a light ahead. To the light. After walking for a while, you came across the exit of the cave. The royal garden and the walls of a castle are in front of you. But the kitty... I want to do another playthrough where I help her turn into a human. I feel like this is the end. Look around. You found no traces of the assassin and went to the castle. You've come to the gate, which leads to the garden, but there are no guards. You can freely enter the courtyard. The sounds of a celebration can be heard from the main building to the main hall. When you opened the doors of the main hall, you were blinded by the light of the room. You stumbled and fell in front of the crowd. Now an almost forgotten face looms over you. It's impossible. Stand up. The courtiers surrounded you and helped you to stand up. Title received, Living Prince. Oh, so Victor doesn't mind, I guess, that we returned. Victor admitted that you really were the prince who disappeared on a hunting trip. The ring served as the main proof of your royal relationship, and none of the nobility could dispute this. You are back in your castle. Oh wait, Kitty is there, so she survived. Opened ways, coronation. Okay. You slept for several days and in the morning found yourself in the royal chambers. Unexpectedly, the servant brought you breakfast in bed. Have a breakfast, look in the mirror. Let's look in the mirror. Skill removed, scar. You were well looked after. Scratches and bruises have healed, and the ugly scar is now not so noticeable. Have a breakfast. You haven't eaten so deliciously for a long time, but unfortunately your meal was interrupted. Your Grace, you have visitors. His Lordship Alexander and Victor wish to see you. Accept Alexander, accept Victor. I don't want to see anyone. Let's see Victor. I still can't believe you're alive, Your Highness. This is a great happiness for the whole kingdom. Get to the point, I haven't came to senses yet. I'm sorry, but I have important business. We need to have a coronation as soon as possible. This ceremony will give you full power, which no one will doubt. I've already prepared everything. The ceremony will take place today. Get dressed to the ceremony. You are kingly dressed. The hierarch places a crown on your head and says a prayer for a long reign. You suddenly feel like sleeping. Close your eyes a little. You dozed off and then suddenly woke up. Thankfully, the speech isn't over yet. The hierarch proclaimed you the king. The assembled are applauding. Put on the crown. Title received, the crowned one. Item received, crown. Now you are the competent ruler of the kingdom. Get ready. 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 Get ready Your Majesty, we should have a feast in honor of your ascension to the throne. What if he will poison something? What do you recommend? Both nobles and commoners love feasts, but no one loves stinginess. Okay, let's have a feast, but if I will be offered to drink wine, I will refuse. You announced the feast. People are happy with the news. Everyone loves free food. Why did I get a million of things? My king, now the entire kingdom is watching your every decision. Protect the loyalty of your subjects, otherwise the enemies will take advantage of your weakened reputation. I got you, let's celebrate. Speaking of my enemies. While the others are having fun at the feast, you and Victor discuss loyal affairs. My king, Torek is investigating and several subjects have already come under suspicion. You may not worry about it and focus on your duties. What are my responsibilities? I want to know the details of the investigation. Where is Torek? This. In the armory, but I guess he'll fill you in on the details once he's got enough evidence. What are my responsibilities? You must take care of the inhabitants of the kingdom. Don't forget to attend the audience to answer their requests. I'm sorry it's late. I must return to my duties. Set off to a meal. Go. We go or he go? Okay, let's go. Because we have full hearts, we don't need food. And I'm just so scared that it's poisoned. Victor bowed and left you. Ah, okay. Set off to a meal. A large table had been laid for you and your favorite dishes were prepared. When another delicacy was brought to you, you remembered how hard it was in the forests and fields of the kingdom. These thoughts make you sad. Enjoy delicacies, try to forget, go for a walk. Let's go for a walk. The evening ended without many adventures, and in the morning you were overloaded with royal duties. Your Majesty, the ambassadors of the Southerners have come to the castle. We must accept them. Who else is there? Sergio, Viceroy of the Southern King. He is the most powerful man in the south now. Let them come in. Sergio enters the hall with a small delegation. What's there? Ah, the Viceroy on the southern throne. Rumor has it that the last coup in the capital took place under his command, and that's how he came to power. Your Majesty, congratulations on your ascension to the throne. I came from afar and on a very important matter. Did you arrange an assassination attempt on me? And what's the deal? Let's ask this. As you know, the peace between our kingdoms is fragile. Clashes at the border are no longer uncommon. The reason for this are the eastern lands that used to belong to us. Continue. Your father, Einhard, meanly took these lands from us. I don't like any of these responses. Why when I move my mouse the lamps move? Do you see this? What lands? Sergio unfolded the map in front of you and pointed to the eastern mark. His finger outlined the courtyard of Abathur, the fortress in the valley and the village of Berg. So what? You must act wisely and return these lands to us. Listen to advisors. The advisors began to whisper among themselves. Einhard regretted about capturing the eastern inheritance, but now these lands are ours and it's too late to change anything. Listen to Alexander. We don't have to give anything away, and it's obvious that the Southerners want war. We need to prepare and get ahead of them. Give the answer. Well, it doesn't tell them that we give them the lands back, but we will just try to be diplomatic for now. I'll think about it. Alright, but we'll come back. Finish the audience. I was just saving the game and it said Chapter 2. Does it mean that the game is so much longer than I thought? I just wanted to try some other routes as well. The delegation of Southerners left the hall and you finally had free time. I want to help the cat. She protected us. If she is alive even. But on the picture, when he was recovering, she was sitting on the bed. Open ways, barracks, statue of Einhard. Let's go to the statue. Unexpected event. A heavy iron gauntlet laid on your shoulder. Turn around. Will you find time to practice with me? I wanna test some new kicks. Okay. You went to the garden just like when you were a child. Wait, what? It's been years. So what? What weapon will you choose? A wooden sword. I hope he will also choose a wooden sword. Don't get a splinter, Your Majesty. Alexander pulls his hands back for a thrust. Let's bounce back. The sword reached your face and cut your eyebrow. Alexander quickly raises his sword over his head. Block. You grappled together up close. Push back with force. Help yourself with a leg. Help yourself with a leg. Realizing that strength alone was not enough, you helped yourself with your foot, kicking his legs out from under him. Alexander was on the ground. He said with displeasure that he had changed his mind about training. Statue of Einhard. In front of you is the dilapidated statue of Einhard. On one side it was overgrown with moss, and on the other it was covered in a web of cracks. Leave it as it is. Barracks. Torik's post is near the barracks, but you don't see him there. Search inside the barracks, search outside, search inside. The heavy door seized up and you'd gotten sweaty before you even opened it. Unwashed trousers, dirt and a terrible stench, but all this without Torik. Search outside. You plunged into a suspicious goo and heard a commotion coming from around the corner. A red-faced Torek is screaming at the guard. He can barely stand on his feet and looks at his commander with glassy eyes. He doesn't even understand what he wants from him. Find out what's happening. Torek wanted to yell at you too, but changed his mind in time. My king, this fool was supposed to patrol the area around the barracks, but he decided to empty the stocks of wine instead. Well done, soldier. Continue, Torek. Torek smoothly switched to a senile lecture about honesty and diligence. It began to tire you too, but it seems that you must listen to the end. When will it end? After listening to the end, it seemed to you that you'd spend a part of your life on this. Your Majesty, you will have to punish soldiers one way or another. Can you figure out how to teach this soldier a lesson? This will be a good practice for you. Great idea. That is the real love of torture. I mean, a craving for justice. The soldier neglected his duties and was drinking during shifts. This is a violation of the kingdom's security and the punishment should be appropriate. I agree we should punish him, because otherwise everyone will just drink. Let's assign him to barracks cleaning. It's the whole month of forced labor. However, the guard doesn't seem to mind. Super. Having seen enough of the suffering of the guard, you return to your post. Continue the conversation. You found me just in time. I need to tell you about the new order in the castle. Listen, why did you miss the council? Why, but... Wasn't he busy investigating who kidnapped him? Okay, let's ask. Why did you miss the council? I'm sorry, there were urgent matters. I've deployed additional guards and launched several new patrol routes. It's all for your peace of mind. I feel like we are getting a kind of not very good ending because I feel like we could have investigated more during our adventure. I've noticed. Actually, what you need to know about the new order. Now, every time you go to inspect your lands, a detachment of bodyguards will go with you. But I want to go by myself. How is the investigation going? Now this story is one big mystery for us. I've already started collecting information and will soon present you my version. But there is also a more serious threat. The Southerners have gained strength and demand their land back. Experience tells us that war can't be avoided. We have to prepare for the worst. I will find the killer who is leading the investigation. What do you suggest? Who is leading the investigation? It's me, my king. But there are some complications. It would be worth entrusting this case to a spy, but you do not have one. What do you suggest? Torek made a thoughtful look, and you could feel the gears in his head turning. By taking on many things at the same time, you run the risk of doing something wrong. You can take over the investigation or the preparation for war, and leave the rest to me and the council. I want to run the investigation, I will prepare for the war, I can do everything on time. I feel like he doesn't have any war knowledge at all. At least that's what it felt like to me. I don't know. I think we definitely shouldn't do everything. Let's run the investigation. Then your council will deal with the preparations for the war. Now let me leave. I'll prepare information on the investigation. But where is the cat? This is the most important question. Should we go here first? Unexpected event. You must receive several people with petitions in the throne room. Everything else will be postponed for today. Arrange everyone for convocation. What happened? Oh no! The castle work is disrupted, but at least you will have a few extra heads in attendance for the audience. But he's so inexperienced. I feel like he needs help at the beginning, at least. Your Majesty, you could do great without an advice, but if it's necessary, we will provide support. 3 people appeared for the audience. Call the peasant, call the knight, call the merchant. Oh, we know him. Let's call the merchant. A businesslike man in an embroidered kaftan and a wide-brimmed hat enters the room. He also helped us, so we should be nice to him. Your Majesty, my merchant guild has made a deal to ship exotic robes from across the seas. We can sell them to the royal court. Okay, since we disrupted work at the castle and called some other people, let's ask them, since they're here. What does the council think? You are told that it's not necessary. However, you notice their grey and unremarkable clothes. We are already stylish. Comparing your yard to the merchant, they look like peasants. However, you decided to refuse. Call the knight. A knight in shining armor with a rooster feather on his helmet approaches your throne. Your Majesty, I am Sir Cedric von Gilfestein, the boredom killer, the loud-mouthed knight, and the sharp tongue. These are not very good nicknames for a knight. Holstein's son of the House of Nuber. Please give me a new title. For what merit? They are whispering to you that this knight with this request has already driven crazy all the accounts in the kingdom. Alright, so for the sake of him not bothering anyone, we can abolish the old titles. Your Majesty, you could do... okay. Call the peasant. A bearded man in rags enters the throne room. The smell of livestock spreads throughout the hall. Your Highness, an illness has passed through the village, and my Dubrava got sick. My kids will be hungry without it. Could you give me coins for a new one? What if he's lying? And what if we will give him coins and every peasant will come to us with the same request? Let's ask the council. What kind of wild manners are these? The peasant asks for money for a new wife. Oh! A new wife? I thought Dubrava means something. Like, you know, maybe a bunch of animals. I thought he called... I don't know. There is no slave trade now. Yeah. He also calls it eat. That's why I thought it's something else. No. What? Oh, it will be hard for the villagers without the last cow. But why did they mislead me? That's what I thought. I thought it's animal. Your Majesty, you could... okay. Is that all? Fortunately for you, the audience is over and you can again go about your business. Something flashed under the tree. Looking closer, you notice Serpentine. She's diligently washing her sides. She's alive. Come closer. Serpentine notices the crown on your head and widely opens her eyes. Oh, and you are already the king. I've been thinking for a long time and realized that I'd done wrong. I ask you to forgive my terrible behavior. Of course we forgive her, she protected us. Thank you. If you are the king, then what? Now you have enough impact to influence this mage. There are more important things in the kingdom. I think I'll have time. Yes, I think I'll have time. Serpentine was delighted and said that the last time Fabian's tower was seen, it was in the eastern lands. He ordered the guard to assemble. Your Majesty, everything is ready, but let me know what is the reason for such a sudden campaign. Matters of royal importance. Oh gods, I dare not to ask any more. The next morning you set out to the eastern lands. Soon you came across a looted cart with traces of a battle. We don't really need all of this now. Let's keep going. All day long, your squad is haunted by abnormal heat that gives you a headache. You decide to set up a camp and settle in your tent. Wash face, take off the crown. No, let's not take off our crown. Wash face. Even ice water doesn't help. Something better is needed. Why are they forcing us to do this? I don't like it. Your head began to cool down, and by the evening you felt relieved. A loud noise outside draws your attention. When you step outside the tent, you see the guards drinking by the fire. Philosophize. You told about the dangers of alcohol. No, I didn't mean that. I thought he will just think inside his head, like, what is the next step? You told about the dangers of alcohol, and you were considered a terrible bore. It got so dark that you could hardly find the royal tent. The soldier guarding it has fallen asleep, and you can hear strange sounds coming from the tent. Break in, look in, wake up the guard. Let's look in. Someone's rummaging through your things inside the tent. Looking closer, you notice that it is a teenager. Let's break in. A teenager flies out of the tent and runs towards the forest. There are a few trinkets missing from the tent, and upon closer inspection you realize that your crown is missing. Of course! The crown! He stole my crown! I don't think we should follow him. Or what if it's someone we know? Actually, let's follow him. Item removed, crown. Realizing that the loss of the crown is a matter of a special importance, you send several guards to rush into the forest. Your Majesty, be careful, follow us. Look for traces, follow the guard. Let's look for traces. You discovered the trap when you stepped into it. Why did it suddenly become more dangerous when we became a king? I feel like we could... Oh no, I guess it's the same. Follow the guard. You carefully follow your subordinates. The darkness became pitch black. You lost the guards from your sight. Call the guards. An answer was heard from your left and you became calmer. The voices of two teenagers were heard ahead. Lurk. You stepped on branches and the crunch was heard. The teenagers ran off in different directions. I knew it's them. I feel like if we catch this guy, they will just immediately kill him because there are posters everywhere about him. But if we catch this one, they may let him leave. The guards caught the second teenager and put shackles on him. The guards got back your crown. Go back to the camp. You didn't find anyone and got back to the camp. What do you mean? But we found the guy. Don't understand. Lowland. I was scared, Your Majesty. You ran away so suddenly. I caught the beggars. It's okay, don't be afraid. Why did he become so cruel? Aren't these his friends? Or does the game just not recognize that we were with them? It's okay, don't be afraid. Serpentine looks at you admiringly. By your order, the camp was assembled and the campaign continued. A few hours later, Serpentine calls you to look at something. I have a theory that this cat is actually some princess from southern lands. And she will be transformed into a human and then they will marry. And by doing this, it will create a peace between them, between their lands. Take a look. Snow-white fog swirls in the lowland. The tower is right there, behind the fog. Are you sure? Forward. Forward. Together with a large detachment of guardsmen, you descended into the valley. Sigi, the beggar, who was imprisoned in shackles, insistently shouts to you. Listen. Your Majesty, the King, Your Grace, please, I know this area, I can guide you. I don't understand why is he acting like this, can you explain? What's dangerous here? Swamps, Your Grace, I almost drowned here once. Well, I wouldn't trust him, but it's just so strange that they seem not to recognize each other. Well, if he will run away, good for him. We returned the crown, so it's fine. Lead us. Siggy was glad and led you forward. You descended into the lowlands and followed the path that had been shown by the beggar. Follow. You lose Siggy in the fog, but there is a gap ahead. Massive walls appeared in front of you. Serpentine confirmed this is the tower. Call Fabian. An excited old man came out onto the balcony with a candle in his hands. I thought we will see a guy from the forest, the one that was disappearing, remember? Einhard, is that you? I'm not going anywhere, I'm already in my pajamas, it's time for me to sleep. It's about Serpentine, Einhard is dead, I'm the new king. It's about Serpentine. Serpentine is locked up and safe, just like you said. The old man is out of his mind. I see it myself. And what do we do? And what do we do? Can you talk to him in his language? What to tell Fabian? Convince him that you are the king? Introduce yourself as Einhard? Ask how the old man is doing. Ask how the old man is doing. There are thieves somewhere. Someone stole my stone while I was sleeping. The kingdom is in chaos. Convince him that you are the king. I feel like this is probably the right option. But I want to see what will happen, what he will say. Convince him that you are the king. You spent quite a time explaining that you were the son of Einhard and that you'd inherited the throne. The old man seems to be listening, but at the same time he isn't. You're not Einhard, young man. How's that? Look at my guards. Enough, just give me the key. How's that? Look at my guards. The old man widely opened his eyes and screamed. Ah! Danger! Danger! Help! Apologize. Short-sighted. The old man ran into the tower and it started to move. No. The tower rose on its stone legs with a roar and showered you with a dense layer of dust. Start the assault on the tower, run. Let's run. You got a powerful kick from the stone tower. But I just didn't want to start an assault. He's just a poor old man. Somewhere on the edge of the forest, your soldiers found you, and you never saw Serpentine again. Aw, that's so sad. Can I restart this? I really want to help the cat, so I think I'm going to save here, and I'm going to load this one. Okay, so she actually did suggest that we just answer things that he want to hear. Alright, let's introduce ourselves as Einland. Einland. I keep saying this name from Fields of Mystery. Einhard. The old man is interested in you. One of his eyes look at you while the other one roams around. Einhard, is that you? I can't believe. Get down and look. The old man really came down and began to look at you and feel your face with his wrinkled hands. Well, well, there is the ring and the crown. The face is similar, but where is your beard? Eini, the skin is soft and elastic. You are too young. A healthy lifestyle. Ha ha ha. Who are you telling this to? Okay, so be it. Fabian handed you the key and slowly returned to his tower. Open Serpentine's lock. I got an achievement, Disenchant Serpentine. You were blinded by the glow so that you recoiled a few steps. Instead of a cat, a girl of extraordinary beauty with purple hair appeared in front of you. She was completely naked. We are a gentleman, so we will give her some clothes. Title received, good friend. You wrapped Serpentine in a warm cloak and gave the order to return to the castle. Now Serpentine is grateful to you and lives with the gardener at the court. I thought they will romance each other, but this is better than abandoning her anyway. Alright, let's go back to the castle. Gardener's house. Your attention was drawn to the rustling in the bushes and the familiar meow. Check. Serpentine is behind the bushes, singing a song and cutting the bushes. Oh, Your Majesty, good morning. You look great. Why is she having these cat ears? You too, what are you doing? Good mood? You too. Serpentine smiled mysteriously. What are you doing? I helped the gardener for a small fee. I want to save up gold and move south. Serpentine continues to hum a cheerful melody. An awkward silence was hung in the air. What do you say to Serpentine? Shall we take a walk? I have to go, royal business, you know. Shall we take a walk? Serpentine happily agreed. Carried away by the conversation, you reached the stone Einhard. A whole flock of pigeons have taken over your father's statue and the area around it. Feed the pigeons. You looked into the castle and took stale bread from the dining room. For the next hour, you were feeding the doves until everyone had eaten their fill. You are walking and talking about your adventures. Serpentine listens with pleasure, but you are interrupted by the snoring of a guard who had fallen asleep at his post. Reprimand, play a trick. Let's play a trick. You brought a pillow from the castle and placed it under the sleeper's head. Torek saw this and became furious, but you had fun. No, I feel like we made it worse. He's going to torture him. It's getting dark. You return to the garden, from where a couple of noblemen came out to meet you. Noticing Serpentine, the man chuckles contemptuously. Order the nobleman to apologize. Don't pay attention. Order the nobleman to apologize. I apologize for this misunderstanding, Your Majesty. Your choice is your choice, but the origin of this person doesn't correspond to your status. Heat, go away. Go away. The couple of nobles quickly retired. Is it because of the nobles? No, it's just hard to live without knowing your past. I see. Hey, no reason to be sad. Let's go to the labyrinth. I know one place there. You'll like it. Go. You make your way through the labyrinth in almost complete darkness, completely trusting Serpentine. Instinct didn't disappoint. You found the secluded shop. Shop? In the labyrinth? It's so magical and quiet here. Do you like it? What if we could figure out her past? And she would appear to be a princess, like I said. Maybe we should have went to this magical school. I just feel like it's the best option. Alright, kiss. Lucky romantic. Serpentine blushed and became embarrassed under the pretense that it was time for her to get back to work. She quickly left the labyrinth. Alright, what do we do? I guess we have to figure out who was the kidnapper. Unexpected event. Walking along the corridor of the castle, you bump one of the torches with your shoulder. Instead of falling, it clicks and the opposite wall opens a secret passage. Close the passage. Let's check it. Taking a torch with you, you squeeze into the dark passage. Once you're inside, the wall closes behind you. You make your way through a narrow, constantly winding corridor and soon find yourself in front of an oak door decorated with a demon's head. Does it matter? Let's push the door. The door creaks open and you notice that the handle here is deceptive. On the reverse side of it, it has several spikes sticking out. There are several dusty shelves with books and wine. You also noticed a lever that probably opens the way out of here. Examine books, examine wine, leave. Examine books. The books are dusty and dilapidated. Whoever used this room had clearly lived here for a very long time. The books are unsigned and covered in rough leather. You find only 2 that have a readable inscription. Description of my glorious Sir Shu. Return books to the shelf. Description of my... The author describes his trips to the restroom in every detail. A few pages were enough for you and you returned the book back to the shelf. Glorious Sir Shu. This is a collection of rather lousy and raunchy jokes. Any jester would have been kicked out of the castle for that. But then why are they so funny? Return books to the shelf. Examine wine. There are no labels on the bottles. Judging by the color of the contents and the shape of the bottles, it looks like wine. You uncork the wine and you feel an incredibly sour smell and notes of some herbs. Put back. You don't dare to drink it. Maybe it's for the good. Leave. As soon as you exit, the passage closes again. It's unknown how to open it again. No. Maybe we should have taken the wine. Torek thoughtfully examines some notes on his post. You interrupt it. Are you ready? Leave. Are you ready? Yes, Your Majesty, I got all the information I could. Until I forget, you can visit me at any time and I will remind you of all the information that we had managed to get. Who is under suspicion? How do we deal with the assassin? Who is under suspicion? I have already checked many and only a few people remain under suspicion. Unfortunately, they are your Aunt Beatrice, the esteemed Victor, and Margrave Abattoir. Why exactly them? Let's get down to business. Is there any more information? I removed a lot of suspects, but these 3, unfortunately, it was impossible to collect useful information about them. Why? I can't get close to Beatrice. Her maids remember me well. And about Victor and Abattoir, I could not find out anything at all. Still, I'm a useless spy. I'll find out something. How to look for clues. I would recommend checking out Beatrice's quarters while she's not there. I don't know where to start with Victor and Abattoir. Maybe I should talk to them first. I don't know, for me it seems like it's Beatrice. Well done. Thank you, Your Majesty. I'm happy to serve. Torek thoughtfully examines some notes on his post. You interrupt it. About the assassination. We are not in a hurry. It's better to carefully consider we found evidence before accusing someone. I'll come later. Okay. Let's maybe go to Beatrice's chambers first.